travel near or far.
To get to the Portsmouth Central Travel Lodge, you need to get off at Portsmouth and Southsea Station and cross over the road. There you will find the entrance to Victoria Park, and the travel lodge we're staying in is just the other side of that park. This is the same building seen from the roadside, and you'll notice that it's a round glass building, and on the first floor this houses the restaurant areas.
We'll take the train or ride the bus.
We got a room on the 9th floor, so the views out the window towards the Solent and across Victoria Park were quite spectacular. In the morning, before we went out, we had views like this, and when we came back in the evening with the long days we've been having, we could watch the sunset over the Solent, all from our 9th floor window. And of course, if you know where to look, you can always see the Spinnaker Tower as it dominates the waterfront here. Just outside the Travelodge there's this gate which is a relic of the Dockyard Railway link that was in place between 1846 and 1977, and what you're now looking at is Unicorn Road, where they landscaped along the original track. I stopped to take a photo of this Solent electric bus, electric double-decker, and forgot that these buses, electric or not, tend to come in 2s and 3s. This is a building that also overlooks the park. It's next door to the Travel Lodge. It's the only other big building on this road. It's called Catherine House. Its role in life, I don't really know. The Nosh box sounds interesting, but even more interesting is an ATM for pizza. There's also a regular menu, which is quite interesting, and plenty of seating behind the fence. I showed you a bit of this park last month, but as we were walking back to it every day when we were heading back to the Travel Lodge, we got quite a few pictures of it in different light. I mentioned the Travelodge restaurant on the first floor. The reception is over there on the left. There's a bar that seems to be nearly open all around the clock, and there's a huge seating area which of course wraps around inside the curved glass window. There's a number of different seating areas, some with views across the park, and of course moving round, because it's a circle, if you move round to the other side you get to see across to the city and watch the buses go past. There's a separate dining area for breakfast, and we did try that on one morning as well.
We will see cows and sheep and pubs where we eat. We'll go down to the sea, riding buses for free.
You can't visit Portsmouth Harbour without seeing the HMS Warrior, because it's a pretty huge vessel parked here permanently now. It was originally launched in 1860 and now being donated to the National Museum of the Royal Navy. We're at the Hard interchange where Warrior is moored up, and you're looking at the Gosport Ferry. Now, this is an interchange of transport featuring buses and trains and boats, and the Gosport Ferry seems to go backwards and forwards across the Solent 24 hours a day almost. I believe there is a night service, and as they walk up the gangway they can choose to either turn into the railway station, which they're already walking alongside, or they can keep going and go into the bus station from the back end. There's concrete seating all along the edge of the water here where you can sit and relax, drink a cup of coffee, or even do your homework. It's perfectly obvious how close the buses and trains are here, and the ferry to the Isle of Wight, you get to that inside the railway station. We'll finish off by going down there after we've checked out all these electric buses.
It's the start of a beautiful day. Maythorn magic is coming your way. We'll dive in the deep end and long for the weekend. Maythorn magic is here to stay.
Since I last went down to this ferry terminal, they've stopped selling Costa coffee, the signs are still up, and they're now selling coffee brewed from the Isle of Wight. You now have to go through an extra barrier to get into the coffee area, but you don't have to be going to the Isle of Wight for them to let you through. Well, there are quite a few Brightons in the world. There's 3 just in this area where I am at the moment. This is New Brighton Wirral, which is the one that I normally go to see because it's, you know me, and I like water. A bit rough today. There's a New Brighton near Mold. There's another New Brighton Manera, I think they call it, down Wrexham Llangollen way. And there's also the old original Brighton on the south coast, and we will be seeing that a little later on. But now, and I don't want you to think that I always pick places that are windy to film and talk to you. It's just that Britain has so much wind, and the energy from the wind can be captured. They do this as the Mersey estuary spreads out into the Irish Sea. There are loads of wind farms out there, most of them too far away for you to see. So that's what I'm going to be talking about just now. Renewable energy, if I can stay upright long enough. I've been to London on one of those Super Saver train tickets and come back with this because I went to a shop. It was called Shoptopus because the Octopus Energy Company were behind it, and I'm sure you all know them. And if you haven't joined them yet and you'd like to, I'll put up a link so that we can make 50 quid each, because I could do with some pocket money right now. So this is their mascot, shall we call it? It's the promotional item which you will see shortly. They have quite a few of, and we're going to go to London. I had to queue to get into this event. It was immensely popular, but before I lose the bag and the octopus, let's get down there. There were 3,000 people invited to this event at Evolution, and we all had to get into the estate. We had to have our bags checked by security, and then we had to go through registration and get our lanyards.
When the north wind blows, the turbines start to turn. We need that heavy wind for the energy we burn. We're gonna trek with the tech, see the future here today. When the sun is in the sky, the kilowatts go high. When the clouds are here to stay, we have to find another way. We're gonna trek with the tech, see the future here today.
Morning and welcome to the Octopus Energy Tech Summit 2025, a flagship event of London Climate Action Week.
And so it was only 5 weeks ago that we had a venue booked in central London for 450 people. And I said to the team, can you find somewhere that will hold 3,000, invite thousands of customers, and let's do what we set out to do as a business.
In my case, I grew up in Canada. But when I was a kid, I looked at some of the things that were happening in the world, and I just thought, what's the one that I am most inspired by? What excites me the most? What, if my life goes perfectly, what is the thing I want to be doing for the rest of my life? And that's when space travel was just starting, when Neil and Buzz walked on the moon, and it just planted a permanent seed in me. But I think the big difference, Natasha, is I didn't hope to be an astronaut. I didn't dream of being an astronaut. I made a conscious decision that I was going to turn myself into someone who could be an astronaut.
Brian Cox told us a story about when he was leaving school and wanted to be an astronomer, and the school careers people didn't know how to get him onto that, so he decided to initially take a different career, and he went into music, and the music that was playing at the event was all about him. The astronomy actually came later.
Because I don't know if I will be able to complete the sentence. I'm not sure what will be the next word.
That's right. You're talking and you're trying to make sense, and suddenly you've come up with letters. Where did that happen? You know, it's an unrolling carpet. Syntagmatic, I think, is the technical word for it.
And the amazing thing with AI, you can now ask the AI to show you exactly how it thinks. You can actually watch how the logic unfolds.
We're gonna trek with the tech, see the future here today.
Quentin,
Greg.
you famously, spent so much of your career promoting the biggest engines with the most cylinders
I did,
and the
yep.
greatest capacity to burn stuff. And then you're here today. What's the story there?
Because I started driving them in, 2009, a little Mitsubishi Imea, 50 miles to one charge, miserable little thing, because I had to test the technology. And it worked. So I then bought another and another and another. And 8 EVs later, I'm here and I drive nothing else. And you heard it here first. Damon Hill says electric cars are better. This is a moment in history, ladies and gentlemen. And you talk about a revolution, Greg. Well, I walked in here today, and just, 3,000 people who have come to an energy tech summit to talk about electricity bills? I mean, this is unprecedented. So it is a revolution. It feels to me like an Apple moment, like a Google moment, a Tesla moment, where all these people want change.
Say goodbye to fossil fuels and find another way. Look at sun and wind and tide on the Maythorn show today. We will trek with the tech and let the music play.
Evolution is set in a gated complex which has got loads of outside space. So while we were out having lunch, and there's a huge open marquee area serving off food and waiters and waitresses wandering around with trays, it was fairly warm that day, so if you didn't fancy eating your lunch out in that, then there were plenty of places under the trees that you could go and sit out of the way and just look on and watch what everybody else was doing. Evolution is in grounds next to Battersea Park Children's Zoo, so if you've been to the zoo, you may well have looked over the fence at it.
To give an idea about the amount of technology progress, this was the patent wall at BYD. Each one of those is an A4 printout of a patent. And it only represented 7% of their patents. I'm really excited that some of the planning we did there enabled us to announce today what we think is a world first. Alvin, can you come and show us what we were working on?
So when you have a V2G car or vehicle to grid, your car connects to your charging point on the house, and from there the power is split up and distributed.
Say goodbye to fossil fuels and find another way. Look at sun and wind and tide on the Maythorn show today. We will trek with the tech and let the music play.
You can sell some of it up to the grid, or you can keep some for your house, or you can keep it all for the vehicle. It's up to you. It's all programmable. You can ring fence part of your vehicle battery to use for driving around, and this technology also apparently works well with buses. Immediately after lunch, Professor Hannah Fry was talking about pigeons and their ability to detect cancer cells.
The thing is, if you take that pigeon out, right, if you ignore what that pigeon was doing, and then you average how the pigeons were voting for all of the slides, how the remaining pigeons were voting, suddenly the accuracy of these pigeons shoots up to a quite incredible 99%. Right? Now that, of course, a number that's comparable to pathologists, also what you get from artificial intelligence, right? Now I think there's something quite interesting in that, because unless I've missed it, I haven't really seen many people talking about suddenly overrunning our hospitals with bird doctors.
Our job as a company is to build an energy system to create a renewable world that is better for citizens than the world we're leaving behind.
My name is Brian Smart and I am here to discuss all things technical.
And that just goes to prove you can't believe everything you see and you hear these days, because that obviously wasn't me. But AI is a great tool for people like me to use to create music and to create images that I can't easily get hold of in other ways. And as you can see, there are some pretty zany ideas out there for what should be in a video. AI can actually create scenery, landscapes and so on, but as yet I haven't used it for that, because the whole point of me going out and doing videos is that I get involved in the landscape myself and I bring back pictures of it. I've been watching AI avatars develop over the last 6 to 12 months. Now, I've only been able to use the ones that I can get for free. I am a pensioner, you know. These are some of the ones that I discovered and I put out on this video channel. I have created some scenery videos just to see how they came out, including a ship sailing towards me and a steam train going past down the high street. With most of the AI platforms that I've used, you get plenty of choice of the person who is representing you on screen, but most of the voices seem to be American, and an awful lot of them are very brash. I don't want that sort of people speaking on my videos, so I've had to go the other way.
We are at Crewe station, having come down from Liverpool on a West Midlands railway train. From here, we take another West Midlands train to London Euston, so we have some time to kill. This trip is on a Super Saver return, costing £17 with a rail card. You can use one of several trains that run hourly through the day. We have nearly an hour to wait for the connecting train, so Brian is wandering around the platforms.
You may remember up to last year I had a theme to this Maythorn monthly which was done by a guitarist called Andros. It was a 30-second piece that I ordered from him on the website Fiverr because it cost me a fiver. Excuse Transport for Wales who've decided to arrive while I'm talking to you. You'll know now that I'm creating fresh music all the time using an AI called Suno, and you can upload music to them, so I took my 30-second guitar riff, uploaded it to Suno, and the first thing they did was store it in a slightly different way, so it's sounding slightly different. Have a listen to this. Something to do while the train went by. The next thing I asked Suno to do was create me an acoustic version. So they did, and I've been using it. Did you notice? supposed to be able to control this camera from my phone, but I seem to have lost it. This is Crewe Station. My dad used to sing a song, which I think was a wartime song, based on travelling up from London and a train that he wanted to go to Birmingham, and it took me on to Crewe, the song said. Well, we now travel from the north to Crewe. Crewe is a great interchange station. You can go more or less anywhere from here. So personally, I wouldn't complain about going on to Crewe. Clapham Junction's the other one, down on the south end. It's one of the busiest railway stations in the country, if not in Europe. So we'll give that a look at some point too.
He wanted to go to Crewe, and they took him on to London Euston. From there, the fastest way to travel across London is the tube. So where is Brian going?
Well, I took the tube from Euston to Sloane Square, and then I thought, enough of the tube, it's a really warm day above on the surface, so I'll do some walking. And I walked from Sloane Square over the bridge, and then got buses, 2 of them, to get me to Clapham Junction. The bus dropped me at this junction, where there's Botanica Hall on one corner, pub called the Falcon on another corner, another pub which I'll come to in a minute was on the opposite side, and the travel lodge where I was going to stay is right here in this street. You can already see what's next door, so I can't hide that any longer. Being called the London and South Western and having trains on the front outside, you might guess it's a railway themed pub. And the thing I liked about this pub was the long glass windows at the front, very good for people watching. My room had views over the railway lines into Clapham Junction station, and there was hardly a time when there weren't 3 or 4 trains out the window. I would have shown you them on video, but the windows were so dirty that you couldn't really see well enough to film. So the following morning I set off on a few miles walking, which I'd planned to do, first to head into Battersea Park. Again, that's about a mile from where I was staying, and the park itself took me another mile to walk through it. And heading towards the River Thames and exiting by the Chelsea Gate entrance on the top right of the map. That says Go Ape. It's a feature of Battersea Park that I haven't seen anywhere else. I've seen lots of parks with tall trees, but here you're allowed to swing through the trees like an ape. We're south of the Thames here, and this is the walkway along the edge of the park towards Chelsea Bridge, where we will exit. We will go across the main road, and you will come across Battersea Power Station. Battersea Power Station ceased to generate electricity in 1983 and was closed down, and it's been sold and redeveloped as a huge shopping centre and leisure area, and they're still building accommodation with the flats all around the area. Although the sign says they'll be delivering the new Northern Line extension, I can tell you that it is now open, and I travel back to Euston from there because it's a Northern Line extension and it's the Northern Line that I need at Euston.
It's the start of a beautiful day. Maythorn magic is coming your way. dive in at the deep end and long for the weekend. Maythorn magic is here to stay.
I'm up in Yorkshire now and taking a walk in the park, and I'm letting the drone track me as I walk down into the Bramley flat. The drone is totally autonomous at this stage, it's just following a preset instruction, but the sound, which I was hoping to pick up, is being done by the mobile phone, and that wasn't successful at all, as you can hear.
Whether it can follow me once it can just come through, I don't know, but that's it going anyway, and get down to a less windy spot shortly.
So the fence I was walking towards was because they've left a whole load of this park wild this year, and the wilded areas are behind the fence, so you can't walk through them. I presume that preserves it all for wildlife. So there are now distinct areas through Bramley Park that you can walk on, and the rest is left to wilding. I'm going down to see my flat, see if the maintenance company have done any work recently. Keep charging me horrendous fees for looking after it, and there's never any evidence of that, so I'm going to look at that. And in the meantime, we're sticking with property, going back to Bulgaria, because the current stage of the work in the bathroom is pretty much finished now. And this is what it looks like all done, up to the point that they can do it, in that we've now got a floor, we've got walls, and we've got a ceiling, we've got some wiring, we've got some plumbing. Let's just go back to last year, just to remind you how much we've progressed. The first thing you see, of course, was last year when they were tipping out the stuff to put the floor down with. They made the concrete and they put it in to the bathroom, and then we left it for another year. But we've made a bit more progress this year because I really like to get that bathroom up and running before Christmas. Earlier this year I was over in Oresh and had a meeting with the builders who did a lot of measuring up. I gave them a description of all the things that I wanted to get done. They made a load of notes, gave me a quote, and that's how we went on. So we went through these stages, which I've already showed you, where we did the filling in of the gable end, we did plastering and rendering and boarding out. But of course, in the process of doing that, we also had to put the plumbing in so that it could be hidden behind the walls. We had cables put in exactly where I needed them. I wanted cables to feed a couple of towel radiators, using downlighters in the two bathroom areas. And there's a couple of other sockets I need, like for a washing machine. And that's as far as we can go at the moment. The next thing is that I need to be back in there. We need to be choosing some tiles to go down. And we'll probably start with the ensuite and put in what you might call, well, it's a bathroom suite without the bath. It's a toilet and sink, in other words. That's what we have to go and sort out. We need to choose tiles and all sorts of other things. So really, we need to go back over there. We always find it's too expensive to travel through the summer holidays because everybody puts prices up when the kids are out. So we'll be going again in the autumn, and we'll be looking at the two areas in this extension. The first one, of course, is the main bathroom with the window on the right, but I think we can leave that for now. There's a few other decisions to make, and we need to know what shower tray we're going to put in before they can put the waste in for that. So it's just a pencil line outline at the moment. There's a lot of little jobs we can probably do ourselves here, and we can start buying things and bringing them to the house. But if we're going to do that and spend time here, we could do with some toilet facilities. So I'm going to try and get that done before we go over in the autumn. The area at the end there with the window looking out the gable end is due to get a toilet and a sink. And that'll do for us as our facilities while we come and work at the house. All we need to do is get the floor tiled first, I think. We may need the wall tiles as well. I shall have to get some advice on that, but put a toilet and sink there and we can afford to spend a few hours there doing things. Thanks to Colin for the pictures he's been sending over. It's nice to see what a good job that Stefan and Valerie are doing. And also, he sent pictures of the outside, which of course gets overgrown very quickly. And Tim's been doing some more clearing of the garden. Looking at the garden pictures reminds me of some of the things we're going to need to do outside, including rendering. But then, of course, there's one really big thing. If we're going to put a toilet in the property, we're going to have to get the septic tank working. And there's a way of doing that, which I believe it gets kicked off by putting a dead animal in it. But I don't think we'll go into the details of that at the moment. Needless to say, if we're going to have a toilet, we're going to need it all piping out to the septic tank, which should have already been done, but might not have been quite finished yet. So there it is, a final walk around the garden, and good to see that the way in and out of the property up those steps is also being cleared. That needs doing all the time, and let's face it, you can't do anything unless you can get in. I'm still in Bramley, and I've been looking round the flat, the building where there are 20 apartments in fact, run by a management company who charge for a whole load of stuff that doesn't seem to be getting done. These are the stairs. We were told last year we were getting new carpets in the whole building. So with these pictures you can see, these are recent in the last few days, you can see that nothing has been done about the carpets, but it appears that nothing's been done about cleaning either. Things that I noticed were broken last year and a couple of months ago when I last came are still broken. Nothing's getting done here. The cleaners are signing in once a month. Just signing in doesn't mean they're cleaning. But according to the new set of accounts, we pay about £2,000 a year for cleaning in this place. The other sign sheet appears to confirm the management company come and inspect 4 times a year roughly. Inspect, that's all. Oh, and they're going to have to increase our gardening charges this year because this is the garden. Apart from this, which is totally overgrown and unkempt, there's just a little border along the edge of the car park, which is also overgrown and could do with regular weeding. And that was Bramley, where they seem happy to remember the people that were important to the town.
Over mountain, land and sea, let our video set you free. With green grass and blue sky, welcome to the month of July. Over mountain, land and sea, let our video set you free. With green grass and blue sky, welcome
So this is Brighton, and when I used to come here as a kid, single-digit age, we used to just go down to the pier and on the beach. And I seem to remember back then there was a glass blower who blew glass ornaments, and we bought a couple and took them home because I had them in the living room for years. But this trip to Brighton, as a much older person, we're not saying how much exactly, more interested in the lanes. Now, a couple of people have told me about the lanes, and I knew nothing of them. Perhaps this isn't the sort of place that you bring children, but it's a labyrinth of narrow lanes and streets with largely jewellery shops, it would seem. And I don't know what this area is officially called apart from the lanes, but it should be the jewellery quarter because it's absolutely full of shops buying and selling gold and jewellery. It's an interesting place though, and we've come to I said I was going to try and find a coffee shop, but this one is specialising in hot chocolate and had an absolutely beautiful hot chocolate here with coconut milk in it and really strong, you know, plenty of cacao or cocoa or whatever it is. So yeah, there's places to eat and drink down here as well, but it's a maze of little streets sort of hidden away, and if you just pop to the beach when you come to Brighton, you're going to miss all this, and in case you already have, we're going to show it to you.
It's the start of a beautiful day, and we don't know what's coming our way. Going on a bus journey with a mobile in hand, following roads on the way and mapping the land. We will see cows and sheep and pubs where we eat. We'll go down to the sea, riding buses for free. It's the start of a beautiful day. Maythorn magic is coming your way. We'll dive in at the deep end and long for the weekend. Maythorn magic is here to stay.
A little strange, I'm actually down on the beach now, and I've just had an ice cream, and I'm distracted as I often am. Right behind us on a table behind, there's a seagull who's staring at us, and we've got pigeons under the table. We've come down on the beach to have a look at this. We're about to get invaded by a large party of people. There's a lot of them down here, so I'll get on with it. This is the Volks Electric Railway. There's a map in the leaflet which shows how it goes along the beach. That seems to me a good trip to make, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get crowded out of this place as I'm speaking, so let's get on the train now.
It's the month of July and we reach for the sky. Maythorn monthly is here to stay.
I'm in the kitchen of our shared house, the house of multiple occupancy, and it's empty. There's nobody here. We've had a tenant from hell, and he kicked up such a commotion and was so annoying to people that everybody left. When I say everybody, 2 other tenants, because I'm only letting 3 rooms at the moment. So the nuisance man had to go. A bit of an alcoholic, and we were pleased to see the back of him. And while I'm here, I'm making sure, with the help of Ruth, that we now clear out all the cutlery and crockery and pans and everything that's been left here over the years by tenants who've lived here, and things that are not mine. Well, up to now, when one person leaves, I still don't know if what's been left belongs to the other 2 tenants, and it's not the sort of thing you ask, oh, by the way, is this your fork? You just leave everything here. But now we've had a good clear out. We've left a few mugs and dishes and things that will come in useful. Still got a drawer full of cutlery, so I think we're ready to re-rent. We're going to launch some more advertising next week. In the meantime, there's a storeroom here which has had a lot of my stuff stored for years, because I've had this house for 36 years, and it's memorabilia for me. And unfortunately, a lot of it got wrecked because the bathroom upstairs developed several leaks over the years. The ceiling in the storeroom came down and lots of stuff got waterlogged and wrecked. That's another story, but I am going to go now and look at what's left in the storeroom, which might be of interest to me, maybe even of interest to you. So come through here. Now, most of this stuff, whoa, that's an old IKEA ladder which we no longer use but haven't thrown out. Perhaps I should. This is a box of memorabilia here. It's got some Star Trek stuff in it, and Star Trek mugs and things like that, and things that were limited edition and have got numbers on. They're all in crates like this. I think they're largely untouched. And going back to the 70s, when I used to do mobile discos, if you remember, it was all black vinyl singles then. No CDs were invented. And I had a logo at the time that looked like that. It's a black vinyl single with my initials and a flash of energy through it, and that was on my business cards at the time. And this Perspex sign was made by a sign maker just down the road from here in Egremont on King Street. And they were very good at this sort of thing. Now, in those days, discos were full of backlit boxes, so my brother actually made up big plywood carcasses, and these slid into the front and were backlit from behind. And I say these because that's one that's actually fairly clean. Here's another one which is got waterlogged and dirty, but I will never use these again, obviously, but they're still here. What do I do with them? Well, unfortunately, they're hard plastic, and there's a section at the tip for hard plastic. Who's going to want those? So anyway, there's lots of stuff like that, and maybe over the months I'll show you a bit more of it, because I've had various careers, various businesses, and we made things a lot of the time. In fact, up here there's some speakers that my brother made the cabinets of, and we used to do public address systems which run on a special 100-volt line system. So these boxes have got 100-volt line transformers in, and we used to equip factories with tannoy systems using these nice wooden boxes. A lot of stuff like that in here. That's anyway for another time. We're finished for the Maythorn Monthly for July. I'm going to leave you with some Birkenhead footage. Some of it is, well, most of it's actually murals. There's a church which is somewhere around Birkenhead Park, where I think it's where Park Road South meets Park Road North. I was walking around there and I saw this church from the main street, near the Laird Street bus depot, if you know that area, and it didn't look much from the main street, but it did say that the entrance was around the back, and when I went around the back, it looked absolutely fantastic. They painted it all up. The Birkenhead Dock Estate down at Woodside, the Woodside Business Park, some of their murals I've shown you before. Some of them have been redone and they're new, so I've got those to show you. And while we're on the subject of Birkenhead Park, we're going to finish with a little walk around Birkenhead Park, and my brother and I are going to have coffee at the visitor centre there Only it turned out at this time of year that schools have their sports days and things in the park. I didn't know that. And of course the cafe was absolutely chock full. They'd sold most of the stuff to the kids, so we went somewhere else. But Birkenhead Park, still a beautiful place to go. We'll end with that.
It's the start of a beautiful day. Maythorn month is coming your way. It's the month of July, and we reach for the sky. Maythorn month is here to stay. Maythorn red month is coming your way. Sit back, let the music play. It's the month of July, and we reach for the sky. Maythorn month is here to stay. It's the month of July, and we reach for the sky. Maythorn month is here to stay.